What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another BTR podcast.
The NBA season is over and we have got our playoffs and play-in matchups at the moment. First, subscribe. We're so close, 7 subscribers away. Thank you for the support on the latest video, which Canadian team could win the Stanley Cup.
We will be dropping a poll question that should already be out on YouTube, so vote down there as well. And yeah, check out the video.
But screw the NHL. The NBA is over. NHL still has 2 games left. We'll talk about that next time. Let's start off with the East. Their games happened early on Sunday, and obvious, 1 seed is the Boston Celtics.
No surprises there.
But the question was at number 2. I said Bucks will hold it down. They did not hold it down. So it's the New York Knicks who beat the Chicago Bulls in overtime to take over the 2 seed, setting up a Bucks-Pacers rematch from the in-season tournament, potentially without Giannis, but also adding in Siakam for the Pacers. And in the 4-5 matchup, the Cavaliers versus the surprising Orlando Magic.
I don't know if this was strategic by the Bucks to avoid one of Philly and Miami. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. It's usually karma could bite them in the ass when that stuff happens. But yeah, let's start off with we'll be playing heavy just because play-in starts on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Friday would be the last day to determine whoever the 8th seed will be. And I'm assuming the playoffs will start next Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday, then the Sunday will be the play-in.
Okay, so Saturday would be
like all the play-in.
So the NHL and the NBA playoffs start on the same day, which is going to be hectic. Before we continue with this, we just want to say one thing. Happy Vaisakhi to everybody celebrating around the world, to all the Sikh and Punjabi community, as well as we forgot to say it last time, Eid Mubarak to all our Muslim community and every Muslim or anyone who celebrates Eid as well. So we hope you guys had a great day. For us, we have the Nagar Kirtan in Surrey next Saturday, so we'll be enjoying that.
Hectic Saturday for us.
It's going to be a hectic Saturday. Hope, depending on how the schedule lays out for the playoffs. But yeah, and then another last thing, our schedule, at least for the first round, might be a little bit different. We might drop more episodes, honestly, rather than less, just because we don't want to make them super long. So we still got to decide on that, but expect maybe more episodes or more videos to be dropped, just because it's going to be a lot of stuff happening in the NBA, NHL, and we have the NFL draft coming up as well.
It's that time of year, right, where the playoffs start, NHL, NBA, you got the NFL draft, and where I will struggle in school.
Yeah. So, let's get right into it. The first play-in matchup is the 7-8, which is the Philadelphia 76ers taking on the Miami Heat. The winner of that will be taking on the Knicks. The loser will be taking on the winner of the 9-10 matchup, the 9 seed being the Bulls, who will be home against the 10 seed Hawks, who brought back Trae Young. So let's start off with that first matchup, our preview or predictions for it. Philadelphia versus Miami. That's obviously going to be the biggest one from both. Actually, yeah, it's probably the biggest one from both conferences. What's your original thoughts on it, and then your breakdown?
Yeah, we got blessed with a heavyweight matchup off the bat. 2 teams that were in the preseason considered as like guaranteed top 4, top 6 teams at least. Miami Heat, it's that time of year again, right? Ever since Jimmy Butler tweeted that, it didn't work, but then he had it at the wrong time because that was a little bit too early. Now it's that time. They did lose the first play-in game last year. So maybe they want to purposely be the 8th seed again and go on that run. We don't know.
That means they're playing the Celtics.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different.
So maybe not.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, who's healthy at the moment, is going to be the X factor in my opinion. How does Tyler Hero, how his offensive game will, will he shoot lights out? Like we know how he does? Or will he not? Because I think Jimmy Butler will do his thing. I think Bam will do his thing, try to slow down Embiid, plus get a couple of points himself. Tyler Hero has to be the secondary scoring option, and he has to be the second offensive guy for the Miami Heat, for the Heat to win this game.
X factor for me is also Terry Rozier. You traded for him at the deadline for a reason. You traded away a guy who performed well for you guys in Kyle Lowry. I get it why, but you gave up some veteran leadership and defense for a guy. To be fair, did it for the Celtics when Kyrie was injured that first year, but he was up and down after the trade. So that's the first thing. Yeah, you're right. It's Miami loves to play with fire. Eventually, I think they'll get burned, and this might be the year for me. But it's also not a good matchup for the Heat either. Embiid got a scary injury. The Sixers Embiid has some type of scary injury in not the last game, obviously the game before that. But he came back, dominated. and he's looking good. But again, the question is the playoffs, and you got a bad matchup against the Miami Heat, who were smart. Now, to be fair, last year the Sixers did not have it. No, it's not last year. Never mind. That's my mistake. I was thinking of the 2 year ago when you guys played the Sixers.
Yeah.
But no, last year the Sixers obviously had the chance to go to the conference finals, choked against the Celtics when they were up 3-2. This year, obviously, because of the Embiid injury, they dropped off. Tyrese Maxey, this is going to be your first time being the second guy in the playoffs, because last year it was James Harden. I think he'll be fine because when he played against you guys, when he played last year,
Tyrese Maxey is fine. I agree with that. He's perfectly fine. He's shown up, right? The issue is, can Embiid show up
and be healthy?
But X factor, unsung hero, Tobias Harris, probably I would say, and a revenge factor, Kyle Lowry, the man they traded away from Terry Rozier, ended up in his hometown in Philly, and we'll see how he helps lead the offense. Obviously, it's going to be due to defense, facilitating, and veteran leadership for his part.
Miami obviously lost Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Kyle Lowry, but outside of that, they kind of have the continuity factor of their main guys. Obviously added Terry Rozier. They have as good as a coach Nick Nurse is, I give the edge to Eric Spoelstra, obviously. Jimmy Butler, this is when he turns into a superstar, usually. But the question again is, are they going to get burnt? Because it takes a lot of energy to play like this all year long, and especially, 2 years in a row now? And we remember what happened after the bubble. They got swept by the Bucks in the first round. But talking about this matchup, Spoelstra kind of knows what he could do against Embiid. The question is, if they could contain Tyrese Maxey to a certain extent, they'll win this game.
Okay, so what do you think the UConn Hurley tactic will work? Let the big guy cook and just contain everybody else, like how Edie cooked and everyone else in Purdue shot the bed.
I think it might, because in that game, Klingen could hold his own against Edie in a way.
Well,
in a way,
he kind of did, yes.
In this case, I could see Bam kind of do the same thing,
do it,
and you could throw doubles here and there, right? Because they're starting. What's their starting lineup?
It's probably Jimmy, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier. Then you got Bam. Then Arnold, the fourth guy.
No, I'm talking about the Sixers.
Oh, I'm guessing it's Lowry.
I don't think it's Lowry.
It's not Lowry. Who's the point guard? Is it Maxey?
I think it was Maxey. Let me pick up one of the early Let the Thunder game. It was Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre, Joel Embiid, Cam Payne, Kyle Lowry, and then Buddy Hield was off the bench. So
another game where they had DeAnthony.
That Maxey was out that game. So yeah, it might be Kyle Lowry.
They have another one game where they had DeAnthony Melton in, but that was so it might just rotate. I think it has to be Kyle Lowry. Okay. Personally, I would start Kyle Lowry, in my opinion. Let Kyle Lowry run your offense. Let Maxey get the points. I think it's pretty simple. Yeah,
it's Lowry. It's looking like it's Lowry, Maxey, Embiid, Oubre, Harris. Because this one had Batum, but I'm assuming Harris will be it.
So, just let Embiid get his twos. Don't let Maxey get his threes. Don't let Tobias Harris get his threes. Doing that, you just, you let Embiid get his twos and don't leave open threes by double teaming Embiid. But double team when necessary. But let's not because what Nick Nurse does on the his defensive game plan, he double teams, gives up that open three.
So the question is,
what is better, right? That's gonna be the question. Is it better to give up those open threes, or is it better just to contain and double team Embiid?
Yeah, no, because here's the thing: who's guarding Jimmy Butler? It's gonna be the double team factor, because Kyle Lowry might be the main guy on him. Because I don't
even think the Kyle Lowry could be on him.
But you've been a Raptor. You're a Raptor fan. You've seen Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, he could play, but I think Tobias Harris will be the main guy.
But Jimmy's cooking him. They
have
history.
That's where they're gonna have to double team.
So Kyle Lowry will be that guy.
I think Kyle Lowry's too small.
No, I know that, but
Kyle Lowry plays big. He plays big, but then it's Jimmy.
The question is, what type of Embiid are you gonna get? That's what's all. It's called. Is it gonna be MVP Embiid? Then they have a massive shot.
I think then they're winning. They're winning.
But what are you thinking they're gonna get? Because
I'm thinking Jimmy cooks. They can't slow down Jimmy. I think there's still a recipe to slow down Embiid. There's no recipe to slow down Jimmy off the top of my head that I can think of right now. Right? If Jimmy's cooking, I don't think they can stop that.
Yeah, the question is if he's cooking, right? So,
And he cooks. At the end of the day, I take playoff Jimmy over playoff Embiid or.
and we've
play-in.
seen it. Yeah.
Like there's legit evidence of it.
And yeah, so with that being said, my prediction, I'm going with the Miami Heat for that reason, just because they've been there and done that. I think they really want to avoid the Celtics in the first round as well. So that for that reason, I'm going with Miami Heat winning this game. Yes, the game's in Philly, but we've seen Philly not do good against Boston in Philly
Bro,
before.
Philly is like one of the best / one of the worst road games to play at, because if you're playing good as a road team, their fans turn against them and start booing them. But if they're cooking and they get the crowd behind them, it's not gonna slow down. That's for sure. But that's all you gotta do. If you're going to big run early, get the fans to turn on their own team. Philly's cooked, and for that reason, I am going with the Jimmy Butler superstar factor here, and I'm picking the Miami Heat. But let's move on to the 9-10 matchup. Chicago Bulls versus the Atlanta Hawks. For me, I do believe Atlanta Hawks are the better team. So I feel like it's an easy pick for me. I'm going with the Hawks. But then again, we don't know. Chicago is home. Right?
Yeah. I'm just looking at their stats right now. But yeah, the Trae Young DeJounte factor, we saw what they did last year. They upset the Heat. So I'm not going to be surprised if anything like that happens. I'm leading Atlanta as well. I think they are the better team on paper. I think they have the two best players in the series. As much as no disrespect to DeMar DeRozan,
Levine's out.
Levine's out, right? So that's why I'm saying that I'm putting DeJounte slightly ahead of DeMar as well, because the defensive factor included.
Trae Young is also one of those players that actually cooks when it's time, right? Like last year, he cooked in the play-in. He did good against the Celtics. Everyone thought they were going to get swept.
Yeah,
Turned into a 6-game series somehow. We all remember the Knicks Hawks series from a few years ago, where Trae Young became the villain.
Yeah, and then the year before
over.
they went to the Western Conference or Eastern Conference final.
That was that.
Oh,
year.
was that year? Yeah,
that
was that year.
Yeah, so Trae Young does show up. So I'm betting on that, and I'm picking the Atlanta Hawks here. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think you agree too.
I agree with that too. I have no reason. I understand he's coming back, and his last game, which was today, wasn't the greatest. But again, I don't think they cared as much. He played 31 minutes, only had 12 points, was a minus 35. The question is, how him and DeJounte will do. I think they'll be fine for this game, and we'll see how that goes. So that means we both got Miami, and we both got Atlanta, which means the winner of Atlanta versus Philly will take on Boston in the first round. How do you go with that matchup?
I'm going with Philly. They're just too.
See, I said I'm gonna take Atlanta, right? But that was also prior Embiid injury, and then seeing Embiid come back and the way he dominated, I wanna lean. I'm gonna pick the upset here. I'm going Atlanta.
You going Atlanta?
I'm going Atlanta because Atlanta did it last year as well when they beat Miami. No one thought they would have beaten Miami. They obviously a couple of years ago, we saw what you said about Trae Young. I agree with everything what he's done there. Again, I think that's the game where that maybe the UConn tactic where Embiid might just go off, but Trae Young might go off and DeJounte might go off. Who's gonna stop them on a consistent basis?
Yeah, but I think in this case,
it's a better. Don't get me wrong.
Efficiency. When you think of efficiency, Embiid's gonna get his efficiency, right? We don't know if Trae Young's gonna hit every 3, but we know Embiid's gonna hit every 2. Essentially, that's a numbers game. The percentages favor Embiid in that sense. So
give me the upset though. I'm gonna go. I like the matchup here a little bit. It's just a gut feeling. I'm gonna stick with what I said even with prior Embiid injury. Who knows what will happen? Because a lot of energy might be taken out in the Miami game, as well with Philly, compared to what I think with what Atlanta will do.
So you think Atlanta will destroy?
No, I'm not saying they'll destroy them.
I don't think they get their rest. I'm banking on Embiid in this case. I do,
and I'm not going to disagree with that.
I do criticize them on that. So I just think Philly, they have the best player in the series. I mean, in that matchup. So.
Oh yeah, by far, because he was MVP this year.
And then the second guy, Maxey's pretty close to Trae Young. I'll give the edge to Trae Young just because Trae Young's done it longer.
Yeah,
but Maxey's right there behind him. So
yeah, because the Trae Young defensive factor will be the case. But yeah, give me. I'm gonna go upset. Give me Atlanta in this case.
So that means for you, Atlanta faces Celtics in a rematch
and get swept.
Then Heat face for both of us. Heat face the Knicks in another rematch from last year as well. And then I have another rematch too. There's a lot of rematches where the Sixers face the Celtics as a 1-8 matchup. But let's move on to the
Obviously,
West.
for the Celtics,
Actually,
stick
let's
to the
finish
East.
off the East,
Stick
yeah.
with the East. Yeah, no. So final predictions for me: I have 7 Heat. You have 7 Heat. I have 8 Hawks. You have 8 Sixers.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm just going with a gut feeling here. I have no reason to go against Embiid. I'm just doing it just cause sometimes you gotta make things spicy here, and
And then fail.
then look smart when I'm right.
or fail.
Other matchups that are officially set, like we mentioned earlier, the Bucks and the Pacers. The Pacers gave them trouble. The Bucks are losing their best player and defenders as of right now. We don't know what the full status of Giannis is gonna be. It's gonna be an offensive heavy load matchup, which could favor
Indiana.
the Pacers
Yeah,
a little bit more, because defensively, yeah, they might be a little bit better under Doc. Yeah, we need to have playoff Dame for them to
we'll see.
actually see.
But
what
we'll
happens.
save these. We'll save these for the next episode.
And the
Just
other
'cause-
one is the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the emerging Orlando Magic. That one's gonna be a fun one.
But it should be
It should be easy Cleveland, but
It should be
Orlando's
easy
defense
Cleveland,
is
yeah.
one of the best because ever since Jonathan Isaac has also come back.
Oh yeah, Isaac's. That's all he does, bro.
Right.
That's
So
all he does.
it's gonna be a tough one, and then we've seen the Cavs be injured. I'm pretty sure they're healthy now, but we don't, to a certain degree, we don't know 100% how healthy they're gonna be. Obviously, this is based on today's report. Everybody's a game time decision. So
Of course, everyone.
but
That's how it is. But let's just save these matchups for next time. Then that way we're gonna know every single matchup for the next episode. But yeah, let's move on to the West. These games happened at 12:30 our time, and the OKC Thunder have done it.
okay, so before we talk about the matchup, does this change your MVP to Shea now,
I mean,
or does it stay Luka?
but Luka's stats line is just nuts.
Because what Shea did,
Is she? I don't know, man. This thing is so tight. It's so close. I'm genuinely getting headaches after this conversation. Trying to think about where do I get the edge to this? She has an edge in standings. Luka has an edge in points, right? Luka,
Shea has edge in defense.
like it just doesn't work. Then obviously,
The thing is,
then obviously out of nowhere, Jokic doesn't come out and just take it.
Yeah, because the thing here is, I don't think no one thought the Thunder were going to finish this much higher than the Mavericks either. Shea took this team from 10th place to first place as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was heavy Shea the whole time,
Yeah.
and then I changed it to Luka. I'll probably change it back to Shea. if I were.
I think Luka's going to just get it narrative-wise as well.
I mean, they both fully deserve it. It's not like.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like the narrative from like the voters are going to be the bigger name is Luka Doncic. And who hasn't
fully-
won it yet either.
Fully deserved it too.
Yeah.
It's just
No.
fully
I'm
deserved.
not disagreeing with anything
Yeah.
of that either. It's a tough one. But yeah, no, OKC, going back to this, edges out Denver because they held the tiebreaker and have the first seed. Denver does get the second seed. This final day for the West was much more intense because a lot of ranking implications based on play-in and playoff top seeding mattered. So the Denver Nuggets obviously ended up taking the second seed because Minnesota lost to Phoenix. And the Lakers beat the Pelicans. Phoenix takes the 6th seed, and Minnesota drops to the 3rd seed. They will face each other again because the last game of the season was them playing each other in a best of 7. 4-5 was already set a long time ago. That was Clippers Mavericks. Clippers take the home court on that side, and this is where it gets interesting. Coming into Sunday, the Lakers coming into Saturday, whatever Friday games were, the Friday games, Lakers were 10th, the Warriors were 9th, and the Kings were 8th, I believe. The Lakers ended up luckily beating the Grizzlies because we were losing most of that game. The Kings lost.
They lost a back-to-back to
Phoenix.
Pelicans and then Phoenix.
Yeah.
Back-to-back days.
And then Golden State ended up losing to, I forgot who it was, Pelicans.
Yeah, so
What happened was Lakers went back up to 8, the Kings went 9, the Warriors went 10, and then Lakers controlled their destiny. They handled business very well against the Pelicans, which means the Pelicans dropped to 7th, the Phoenix Suns move up to 6th, and then the 9-10 matchup is...
But did it come as a cost for the Lakers? AKA Anthony Davis.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as serious as of right now, so I'm going to just stick with
It's
that.
Anthony
He played the
Davis.
most games in his career this year, so there's no always doubtful thing with him.
But that's also bad news because he might get hurt in the playoffs because he played so many games.
But yeah, Darvin Ham says literally report right now. Anthony Davis suffered a spasm, and he's extremely optimistic about him being available on Tuesday. So the matchup, there is a rematch again of the last game here. It's the Pelicans versus the Lakers at New Orleans. It's the Kings versus Warriors rematch of last year in Sacramento. Obviously, the winner of the Lakers game will take on the Nuggets, so which is not a good thing if you're a 7-8 seed. But you get a second chance if you do lose that game. And the winner of that second matchup between the winner of the 9-10 and the loser of the 7-8 will take on the OKC Thunder, which is probably the more favorable matchup.
So let's talk about it. LA Lakers show up when games matter. They do.
They do.
Right? They're like, they don't. They suck against the bad teams, but do good against the good teams, type of thing. Right? They play to their opponent's level every time. So for that reason, they play to the occasion. They won the in-season tournament. I will go with LeBron James, a healthy Anthony Davis, who has been healthy this year and honestly could have been in Defensive Player of the Year / MVP conversations if it wasn't for your coach. That's what you say. And being so low in the
I'll say the players somewhat as well, but the coach for sure.
And then obviously you have LeBron. Doesn't matter what age he is, he still cooks.
Yeah.
And then let's see how D'Angelo Russell does in this postseason.
He's the X factor for sure. He's the X factor.
On the Pelican side, you got Brandon Ingram
back,
McCollum, and Zion Williamson. I think that's the first time ever where I'm going to see all three of those players play in a playoff game / play-in game, right? Zion cooked. He was healthy.
His kryptonite is the Lakers, though.
His kryptonite, his Lakers. Yeah, he did struggle today. Obviously, you got McCollum, and then you always got Ingram, former Laker, as well. Who might be seeking revenge. Who knows? I don't know if revenge is still on his mind. So, I will go with the Lakers, though. I'm still going to go with the Lakers. Even though I like the Pelicans roster. I really do. But the Lakers have the better star power. And that's what matters.
Yeah, Lakers are a good play-in team, as they've shown the last couple of years. I'm leading Lakers too, but again, it's not going to be an easy matchup. This is not, you don't play when you play a team back-to-back, it's not easy, right? And I'm sure the Lakers probably want to avoid the Nuggets, but you have to play them eventually anyways, and you don't want to have a risk of a game where you have to, you might have home court, but you're not a good matchup against the Kings. AD's 0-9 against Sabonis record-wise in his career. And then the Warriors, well, if Steph gets hot, you might be in trouble.
And Clay shit kicked you last time.
Clay's been better. That game we didn't have Anthony Davis, but either way, Clay's been better down the stretch as well. Andrew Wiggins is coming around as well. Draymond Green is kind of not acting like an idiot, except for that one moment.
Staying on the floor.
That's the key with him. But give me the Lakers for everything you said, because Zion hasn't been. They know how they do well in the paint against the Pelicans, because they did the same exact thing in the play-in or that the in-season tournament as well. I think in the semi-final or whatever that game was back then. And Zion, they clogged the paint well. They have shooters. Don't get me wrong. If Trey Murphy gets cooking, CJ McCollum gets cooking.
Bro, they cooked against the Kings, bro. Freaking Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado was hitting threes. All
Herb
these guys.
Jones.
Herb
Jones is in defensive conversations as well.
McCollum had 9 threes that game as well.
So it's still going to be a tough matchup. But yeah, if you could somehow force the turnovers like they've done well against the Pelicans, except for the one game, I believe, where the Pelicans destroyed us. Yeah, give me the Lakers in this matchup. Get the rest they need and get ready for the Nuggets, because that's going to be a matchup we talk about later if that's the case.
So we both have a Nuggets and the Lakers being the 7th seed. Let's talk about 9-10 matchup. Kings, Warriors. Both teams struggled compared to what they were last year.
Super tough prediction to hear.
Super tough.
This last time Steph wasn't a play-in, it was when the play-in first started. He went 0-2, lost to the Lakers, and then lost to the Memphis Grizzlies at that time. After that, he obviously won the championship and then was the 6th seed last year. It's a tough one to predict, because we saw the Kings their only problem with the Kings right now is Kevin Huerter's injured. Malik Monk is injured.
Yeah.
I don't know what their statuses are right at the moment, if they're going to be back or not.
Honestly, as much as the Warriors were bad, right, the Kings have been they've been on runs where they weren't great, right? Where they're so we don't know what Kings we're going to get. We don't know what Warriors we're going to get. It's been that type of year for both of those teams. Warriors obviously a little bit more. Key to Warriors: Draymond, don't get ejected. Don't stomp on Sabonis' chest. That's 2 keys right there. Curry, can you do Game 7 performance where you dropped 40 or 50 last year?
Yeah.
When you eliminated the Kings. And at the end of the day, if we get those Wiggins that we got when they won the championship, I'm gonna lean to the Warriors in that sense. I think they just have the better. Obviously, they
The
have
Warriors
the
are a
best.
scary
They have the
team to
best
play.
player in the series, and they have the better supporting crew in the sense of if they play to their potential. I will lean to the Warriors.
Yeah, but again, it's a March Madness setup, right? It's one game. If you don't show up, no one thought they were gonna lose to the Grizzlies that year, the year they did, and the like that.
That year, yeah, I remember.
This year the Warriors have been the most up and down team, like you said. Outside, even minus the suspensions, with Draymond Green, they've had stretches where they look like they could be that team of the Lakers from last year coming out of the play-in. They also look like the stretch that they're gonna get cooked and go home early, and get out. Might not even make the playoffs for a little bit there. This is the toughest one for me to predict out of all four of them, because of that. The Kings are a hard team to play against. They never make it easy.
They don't. They don't.
But I can't bet against Steph Curry.
Exactly.
I cannot bet against Steph Curry as much as I really want to say. I won't be surprised if they lose. I'm gonna make that clear. This is the closest one I think it's gonna happen.
There's a reason why their series went to 7 games last year,
Yeah.
right? So, but when you have Steph, he came out on top that time. I think he comes out on top this time.
Yeah, and this is why this team might be scary, because they're the team that could get the OKC Thunder. I favor the OKC Thunder in the matchup because of the size and everything, but yeah, no, for this one, yeah, give me the Golden State Warriors. I will not be surprised if the Kings win this game, but I'm not betting against Steph
So
Curry.
we set up a Warriors Pelicans matchup to play in the 8th seed, and again another tough one, right? Pelicans have their 3-star players. Warriors have Curry. Who do we pick again?
So here's the thing: do you still? This is where the Pelicans get in trouble. They had the interior of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura. If Vanderbilt gets healthy, that's good, tough for Zion. Anyways, LeBron did a masterclass against Zion today. They have Draymond Green, and say what you want about Draymond Green.
He defends.
He defends well. He's one of the greatest defenders of all time. He's a Hall of Famer in terms of basketball court wise. He's a Hall of Famer. He's gonna get his jersey retired by the Warriors, so on and so forth. He deserves it. It's again star power, and this side is Steph Curry from that team, who's really is Jose Alvarado might be the pest. Again, Warriors are a weird team. It's just so hard for me to like. They lost against the Pelicans a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah,
so like, I won't be surprised if they lose this game, because
Pelicans are the team that, like, if they're hot, Warriors.
they were one of my more scary teams, that my Knicks version of the West.
Yeah.
In a sense that they don't have the. I'm not putting Zion at a superstar level yet, but they're close. He's close enough that I could say he might be there.
I think when healthy, I am leaning the Pelicans here.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards the Pelicans here. And yes, it's going to be Lakers can clog the play against Zion, but I expect Zion to do well, right? Because at the end of the day, that's all they have is Draymond, right? Other than that, I don't see. Wiggins will be tough.
Trace Jackson Davis does well, rim protecting a
Yeah,
little bit too.
Looney. I don't think those guys are gonna be able to handle Zion. Draymond can, but then can he stay on the court?
But the thing is, like, that matchup was all they were doing was getting switches onto like a Chris Paul, who could handle his own, but he's older. On Steph Curry, on Klay Thompson as well. Like, that was literally the game plan when I was watching the game on Friday night.
Like, so then you're gonna have Wiggins match up against Ingram probably. Right?
Yeah.
Ingram
was missing that game too.
Yeah, so then you have Ingram being the better offensive player. Wiggins, if they match up against each other defensively, I don't think Wiggins. If that's the case, I think Ingram will have beat the Wiggins matchup, right? Herb Jones can contain Curry.
The key is gonna be,
or Alvarado, both of them, whatever it is.
The key is gonna be Klay Thompson.
It is.
Right, the key is gonna be Klay Thompson, or maybe even Andrew Wiggins, who be that secondary.
I think it's Klay.
It's Klay Thompson for sure, but
it's Klay.
Like, just they need a secondary guy to get going.
I just think
they
need Klay to like stretch the floor. That's what it is. Like, if Klay's not hitting his shots, they're not gonna respect you, and they're not gonna guard you. They're gonna let you take the shots, right? Giving them more opportunities to clog the paint, right? The more you make Warriors an outside team, yes, I know that's their benefit, like that's their strength. But the reason why they're a good outside team is because they also have a good inside game as well. That's just how 3-point shooting teams work. Like, why do you think Purdue was so good in 3-point shooting? Because Edie kept on cooking in the paint.
Give me the Warriors.
I'm leaning
going
Pelicans.
Steph Curry. I'm going Steph Curry bias here. Give me what I don't know. They're just that team that I feel like if they're gonna go on, if they win that first game, they will win the second game and give OKC trouble. That's just me. That's my prediction.
Pelicans will stay at home court for me, and there's also, I think Wiggins I think Ingram wins that Wiggins matchup. I think McCollum wins the Clay matchup. Obviously, Curry's gonna win the point guard matchup.
It's gonna be a tough one.
It's gonna be a tough one. It's too
I
close.
don't know. Like again, it's both the cases for Golden State's gonna be tough. Even if it's the Lakers, it's gonna be tough. Yeah, I'm leaning Golden State still because I just feel like they're that team. Like, I'm gonna just give the experience. I know the Pelicans have been there the last couple of years as well, but this is the first time all three of them you said are gonna be playing together as well. They don't really have that point guard on their team like a Kyle Lowry, Chris Paul, right? Chris Paul and Steph Curry are on one team, if anything, right? So yeah, give me that experience and give me Golden State taking on OKC in the first round.
Give me the New Orleans Pelicans taking on.
However,
the
let's
OKC.
flip this. If the Kings do win, who do you take between the Pelicans and the Kings?
Again, this is very tough. I'll still lean Pelicans.
Yeah, that one I will
I'll
lean.
still lean Pelicans.
That one I will lean Pelicans as well. But
yeah, so
it's gonna be a tough one for sure.
For me, so I got the Pelicans as my 8 seed, Lakers as their 7 seed. You got Lakers as your 7 seed, and the Warriors as your 8 seed. So you got a Thunder Warriors matchup. I got a Thunder Pelicans matchup.
That either way, that one's gonna be fun. I'm rooting for a matchup of that one. What you said.
And then obviously we both have Nuggets versus the Lakers, but let's quickly comment about the 3 versus 6 and the 4 versus 5. 3 versus 6, Timberwolves versus Suns. Obviously, a lot of people are initially leaning to the Suns probably.
I am too. This should not be the favorite though because the defense of the Timberwolves will get to them. And the depth of the Timberwolves is probably better than the Suns, but the Suns star power is there. Again, they're missing a floor general. Same thing as the Pelicans are. However, I trust Devin Booker. I trust Kevin Durant.
They got a floor general.
Bradley Beal.
Isaiah Thomas, baby.
But no, I would not be surprised. Phoenix should it's the same as last year for me when the Golden State Warriors versus the Kings. I'm taking Phoenix Suns in that series. We'll talk about more, obviously more deep dive when we do a little bit more research and see the matchups.
When the matchups are official for everything.
But yeah,
4 versus 5 is probably.
That's a 7-gamer. It should be a 7-gamer at least.
It's been 7 gamers.
The question is Kawhi's health. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's been 7 gamers before.
Yeah, and that's
now we have round 3, but this time there's a James Harden and a Russell Westbrook added.
For me, the X factor is James Harden.
But the key, Kyrie Irving's also added too.
Yeah, the key is Kawhi Leonard's health. If he's playing, I'm gonna lean the Clippers because we've seen what Kawhi Leonard could do. Yeah, maybe not as much with the Clippers as much as he did with the Spurs and the Raptors that one year with the Raptors, but. Yeah, as of right now, I think I gotta see what Kawhi's health status is before I could see a prediction for that one.
Yeah, again, it's so tight. This is gonna my favorite series already. I'm just gonna list it right now.
Yeah.
If I would have picked
my favorite series would be if it's your 1-8 matchup of the Thunder Pelicans.
You said that was your favorite series
in terms of fun level and everything on both sides. Like that would be my favorite to go.
But I'm sticking with the people's favorite. That'll be the people's favorite.
That's up there for me.
Like how Holloway and Gaethje was a people's main event.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Clippers, Mavericks, round 3. We'll see what happens. Can Luka finally get past the Clippers? We don't know. He has a lot more help in Kyrie Irving, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington. We'll see what happens. They're both squads. They both have good rosters, but the Clippers do have the star power.
So officially, this is our play-in results, our predictions. The 7-8 in the East, the Heat will beat the Sixers. But for me, the Heat will beat the Sixers, and then the Hawks will beat the Bulls. But for me, I say upset Hawks over the Sixers. You're saying the Sixers will take the 8 seed over there.
Let's do it easy way. 7-8.
My 7-8 will be the Heat and the Hawks.
My 7-8 is the Heat and the Sixers.
And then on the West, my 7 is the Lakers. Your 7 is the Lakers. My 8 will be the Warriors. Your 8 will be the Pelicans.
Exactly. So yeah, that wraps up our play-in talk. Quick talk about Kentucky coach. We haven't wrap up the basketball talk. Kentucky found their coach, and he is BYU's former coach. I don't know his name. I forgot.
Mark Pope.
Yeah.
Surprised. I'm very surprised. I'm surprised. First of all, people have rejected their job, which is in a way smart, right? Because everybody, like we said, usually when a big marquee job is available, some coaches will leave their current opportunities and face that pressure, aka Eric Ten Hag with Man United and whatever is happening. We'll talk about that later. We saw what happened with Washington's coach going to Alabama, stuff like that, right? Usually that happens. In this case, yeah, Baylor's coach rejected it. I believe Nate Oates rejected it from Alabama's basketball program as well. But you're Kentucky. You have money. I'm sure you were able to pry away someone because
I don't think BYU gets the job done.
yeah, I don't think that. Maybe I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm not saying this out of my ass. I've done a little bit of research on this and listening to people. And yeah, Calipari going to a smaller team made no sense to me. I'm surprised that Kentucky didn't keep him some way somehow, whether it be money or not. In the same way here, I understand a fresh start might be needed on both sides, but I don't think this is the right option.
Where was BYU?
Hmm?
Where was BYU?
I don't know.
Exactly. Why are you getting him? Right? Like,
Yeah.
Get someone who actually made the March Madness at least.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't like this for them, especially for how marquee the matchup is.
It's not a great feeling so far about this pick. I don't have a great feeling. You don't have a great feeling. We don't know much about him, but we just don't have a great feeling.
Yeah, BYU hasn't done great in general. Zach Wilson
maybe
shot
Zach
the
Wilson.
bed. Jimmer Fredette has shot the bed.
Zach Wilson bias is coming in.
Yeah. But no, I'm just surprised. All around Kentucky, I'm just surprised with what happened to this whole Calipari situation and who they decide to hire as well. But yeah, that's the coach. Nothing much else to say there. All right, let's move on to the NHL now. And even there, the playoff races are tightening up. There's 1 to 2 games remaining for almost every team. Playoffs also start on Saturday. So we'll see how the schedule goes. Once again, just a reminder that we will be planning for the next month or so, depending on how the playoff first round especially, we might be changing our schedule up a little bit. But before we talk about the big news out of the NHL, let's talk about the playoff updates right now. From the eastern side, which is everybody's looking at currently, it looks like the Islanders should have it locked up, right? Again, anything could happen. Still 2 games remaining. The third in the Metro. And right now, Washington hold the second wildcard spot with 87. But also, Detroit and Philly are 87 points. And Pittsburgh is 1 point away with 86 points. The only difference here being Philly has 1 more game remaining. So essentially, they lose that.
The rest have 2, yeah. The rest have 2. So Philly, they're all must-win games.
And these will be the matchups. New York Islanders have the Devils and the Penguins, which is going to be a big one, right? Washington has the Bruins and the Flyers. Again, one of them is going to be a big one. Tough for both teams right there off the bat.
Bruins, Flyers.
Red Wings have the Canadians twice.
Wow.
The Flyers, their only game is, like I said, is against the Capitals. And the Penguins got the Predators and the Islanders. And the Predators are also playing for something as well.
For seeding, at least.
Right?
Yeah.
So, sticking to the East, I think I'm comfortably saying the Islanders should have that locked up.
Oh, yeah.
I know I said Capitals and Penguins will get it. Capitals got a big win. The Penguins got a big loss over the weekend. So, and the Islanders obviously handled business. They lost in shootout to the Rangers.
I'll lock in the Islanders one with you. But I can't pick anything from the wild card too yet.
I can't.
You just can't, right? Like when you have 4 teams tied at freaking 1 or something, with same points, 3 teams tied with the same points, 1 team 1 point behind. How do you pick between that? Like, we don't know what the hell's gonna happen. But interesting finish. On the west side, they're just conceding spots.
The Canucks should have the division locked up.
Canucks need 1 more point for the division. Edmonton has, in that case, Edmonton will be the 2nd seed. 3rd seed, it depends, Kings or Vegas for the Pacific. And on the flip side, Dallas should be there we got the division clinched.
Yeah.
And then Dallas with one more point, Dallas should have, I think, the conference as well.
I don't know who has tiebreaker between. I think the Canucks might have tiebreaker because of regulation wins. I don't know, though.
So that sets up a Jets-Avalanche matchup as well.
And Colorado's struggling at the wrong time.
That is true.
Blew a 3-0 lead to Vegas, which is bad for Nashville because Nashville would have had the wild card 1 locked up. But Nashville's only game is against Pittsburgh. All Nashville needs to do is probably get a point, at least a point, and they should have that. And that should be a matchup with the Canucks. But like you said, so the matchups remaining right now, the Kings have the Wild and the Blackhawks. The Predators have the Penguins. And the Golden Knights have an easy schedule, which is the Blackhawks and the Ducks.
Yeah, so Vegas Google as high as Pacific 3. They could still get wildcard 1 or wildcard 2. Kings could also fall in wildcard 1 or wildcard 2 as well. So we're just finishing off the standings there. Edmonton should be your 2nd Pacific team. And then Winnipeg and Colorado is already guaranteed as a first round matchup.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this more later this week as well, just because this one doesn't have play-in implications, so we don't have to have an extra day to talk about any play-in stuff with
Yeah.
this.
Speaking of Vegas, Noah Hannafin and the Vegas Golden Knights have extended or agreed on an extension where Hannafin will remain in Vegas for I don't know how long. I'll be honest with you, I forgot the
8 years.
8 years. Yeah, they found a way to do it again.
8 years, $7.35 million cap hit per year, so $58.8 million total.
Also, Stone is skating as well. Mark Stone.
Yeah, Hannafin will have a full no trade clause for the first 6 seasons of the 8 of the contract and a 15-team no trade list in the final 2 years. He will receive a $29.4 million signing bonus as well. The Golden Knights have question marks though, and this is where I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to pull up their cap thing. I was listening on the radio as well. They have a slight issue. Jonathan Marchessault is a free agent. They have players making more than like $7 million or something for the next. Most of them are making it more than multiple years. So Pietrangelo, you got now Hannafin, right?
Stone is already on there already,
Yeah.
probably, and all these guys.
The question is like, I know Vegas's business is like, we don't care. They literally traded Riley Smith after winning the cup.
They're like, we want it. We want the cups. We want the playoff
Yeah.
success.
But Jonathan Marchessault, who's been there since day one, and I get it, they don't have loyalties to anybody. But the guy who had the Conn Smythe, who's leading goal scorer this year for them, is not locked up. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think he should, if that's the case, he's the one guy you need to lock up.
I mean, yeah.
And Jack Eichel obviously
It just come to a situation where like you can't pay the bad, right? I'm pretty sure Marchessault deserves.
Unless they do trades, which they always do.
Marchessault deserves money.
Yeah.
He's gonna ask for money. They're gonna have to find a way to clear up
And
some
term.
cap, right? And it's not like Marchessault's playing like it, right? Conn Smythe winner, leading goal scorer for their team this year. He fully deserves the bag. And
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Vegas wants him back. It's not like at the end of the day, Riley Smith at the end of the day was the third line at best on their team.
So this is where
Right. Like he was a D guy, right?
Yeah.
Marchessault is considered as one of the D guys in Vegas.
This is where Tomas Hartle's signing kind of doesn't make sense, or
Yes.
the trade, just because he has 7 UFA years remaining. He's already 30, and his cap hit is for 6.75 per year. Okay.
Yeah, Hurdle one is
Jack Eichel, 3 more years at 10 million.
well, that's fair.
William Karlsson, 5.9 million over 4. Maybe they trade him to make money for him. I don't know. Jonathan Marchessault,
So you
like I
trade
said,
another OG to make money for OG.
yeah, 1 year, 5 million, right? Ivan Barbashev, who they also signed, 5 years at 5 million.
Wait, who was the one before Barbashev, you said?
Jonathan Marchessault.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like, and then defensively, Alex Pietrangelo has 4 years at 8 million,
Yeah.
or 8.8
And then you got
million.
Hannafin added on that.
Alec Martinez is also that's fine. I meant to say Shea Theodore, in my opinion, the most underrated defenseman in the league. Alder Grove's own is 2 years at 5.2 million. So only Marchessault is coming off the books that's making over 5 million.
And he's going to want 7.
And I know they'll do some LTIR stuff or whatever,
Yeah, they'll find a way back.
right? Like,
I don't think they'll get that Marchessault goal. I'm not saying more loyalty factor. I'm just saying performance-wise.
yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit if he's loyal
I think
or
the
not.
problem with Marchessault is his age right now is 33, 34 by the
He's
end of
that
December.
old?
He's actually that old.
Oh, that's
So they probably don't want to give him term.
They can't afford to give him term.
And I'm sure he's probably looking at term.
Obviously, when you're that age, you got to look for term.
But even then, like, he's 30, going to be 34. 3 year. If he's okay with a 3-year contract, I'm giving it.
Oh, yeah, I would.
But if he's looking for like 7, then it's a
oh,
little
yeah,
tough.
there's no chance, bro.
That means he's
40.
playing till 40.
Yeah, he's
So
going to get 4 years max.
I think he should ask for 4.
He's getting 4 years max.
He should ask for 4. I don't know what Vegas is thinking about that.
Yeah.
That's way. So that's where the confusing part of Vegas is coming from, especially with that Tomas Hertl trade. I know they think a lot of short term and they figure out this stuff in the offseason, and they are one of the best to run franchises that way as well, because they will find a way to make trades, whether
Straight business.
straight business moves for them. But yeah, I think that just caught me by surprise, just because A, Jonathan Marchessault has been there since day one, and B, is your leading scorer this year, and
he's actually
C,
been playing
and
good.
was a Conn Smythe winner for you.
Yeah.
And then you also got to make a decision with Shea Theodore eventually as well.
More news in the West.
The biggest one.
It has been official. The Arizona Coyotes.
Almost official. I'm going to just say
Almost
that.
official. The Arizona Coyotes, who beat the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers in back-to-back days.
Shootout wins or overtime wins.
In overtime wins. Before the Edmonton game, the players have been informed that Arizona will be moving to Utah. And essentially, what's gonna happen is NHL is gonna buy Arizona, then Utah's gonna buy.
Yeah, so I will talk about that in a second.
Utah's gonna buy them off that, and that valuation I think is around 1.2 billion.
Yeah,
In that sense,
there's
there.
more to that news, but yes, so there has been. It's not fully official. Arizona said they will talk. Their front office will talk about it still a little bit more. But according to Elliot Friedman and all the reporters, as well, it is looking like that we're not gonna have the Arizona Coyotes anymore. We're gonna have the Utah something or the Salt Lake something.
The Utah Rocky Mountain Supreme.
Okay. It's an end of an era. However, I think NHL loves them so much that this is the plan for them. So like you said, the Salt Lake will still appear to be on the verge of landing the Arizona Coyotes, but not before the NHL takes control of them. So I don't know how much that will screw them over, because Salt Lake is getting a good team then, if that's the case, right? The league is going to buy the Coyotes for $1 billion, and the current owner, Alex Morello, is going to have a 5-year window to prove he can put together a new arena, go to the land auction and win it, and then get shovels in the ground. Everything that he has to do to prove he can build a new arena, according to Elliot Friedman. The next step in the process is where Salt Lake City comes in. And then kind of like expansion, the league is going to sell a new team to Utah and owner Ryan Smith for $1.2 billion. The Coyotes hockey operations are expected to go with that. So it's still making it confusing. Gary Bettman is not letting Arizona go. I don't know if this means that Utah will get the team instantly, or the NHL is still controlling it in Utah, or what the case may be. And because he says he's giving him a 5-year window.
So I'm confused in the sense, are we getting Utah hockey next year?
I think they might.
So it's me, Utah hockey next year under the NHL control, essentially.
I mean, based on the headline, is NHL to buy Coyotes, sell to
like
Utah
how David
ownership.
Stern was like the Clippers team, was it?
No, the Hornets.
Or the Hornets, yeah.
Yeah.
The Hornets.
The league is going to buy the Coyotes for $1 billion and then flip them for $1.2 billion, making obviously a profit there.
So Batman's got two teams, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Utah and the Utah whatever.
And the current owner, Alex Morello, is going to have a 5-year window to prove he can. Yeah, I definitely need to look into this a little bit more, but.
So it's
apparently the next expansion team might go back to Arizona. I think.
Yeah, I told you that's gonna happen. If Arizona could figure shit out, they will get a team.
Which I don't know if should be fair or not. Again, I don't blame Arizona's fan base or reporters or anything like that. The ownership's been shit, and it's been shit for a while. I think it's the right decision to move out. As much as I feel bad for the fan base there, and the players, because some players may prefer to stay in Arizona because it's hot weather, golf, and all that.
High altitude and adjust cold and all adjust to that. It sucks, but yeah, it was it run problem. You can't be having an NHL franchise in a freaking college arena. It's just simple as that.
There's also reports that Ryan Smith ownership will go like all in off the bat to try to win, kind of like what Vegas did, because he has the draft assets right as well. The young pieces, they have good young pieces already on the roster.
Yeah, technically,
to make the team good.
He's taking over Arizona. So like,
if that's the case,
they will have Keller in place. They have Logan Cooley in place. They have Dylan Gunther in place already.
Yeah.
And then plus their picks and draft capital. Yeah, that's true. I tripped out because I thought it would be expansion team. I was like, how are they going to be good? But then I realized.
No, it should be Arizona. And yeah, it logically makes a lot of sense. They're the ready team. It makes sense to move them over, even though there's some weird geographic things as well.
How about they just become Utah and then let Arizona get the expansion team? Right?
That's the thing. I think that's what they're saying they might do.
So that's what they're doing for the 5-year window?
I guess.
Like
That report just threw me off completely. So
So just make the transfer right away. They're Utah Coyotes, and then Arizona gets a new team.
If you could prove they could get an arena.
That's what's gonna happen then.
It's gonna be tough. Wherever in Arizona, whatever city does not like the Coyotes at the moment because he hasn't been paying stuff. There's reports from I think Frank Saravelli saying like they haven't been paying hotel bills and stuff like that as well.
Even hotel bills.
So I don't know how bad it's going to be. But yeah, as of right now, it's looking like Salt Lake will get the Coyotes. New team, new rebrand and everything. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, the Coyotes players are probably, for the fans, should, and they are, hopefully play all out. Their last game is against Edmonton at home, I believe. So we'll see how it goes.
The arena is going to be filled.
4,000 people.
4,000 people. All
but that is a disgrace. Like, there's no way they should be playing.
Exactly. When it comes to that situation,
and it's not like Salt Lake has like a proper full thing. It's gonna be playing the Jazz Arena, but it's not like that's meant to be a basketball arena. So which means that the rink is obviously going to be bigger, which will take up more space of the seatings as
Yeah.
well. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, next year is going to be interesting in the NHL.
But a lot of teams like play in the same arena, right? Like Denver and Colorado, and Nuggets and the Avalanche play in the same one. Wells Fargo has both Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers.
Yeah, but I think those were maybe planned that way already. Utah never had that.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's
Maybe
that's the
that's
thing
true
that they're
too,
looking
yeah.
at. Because Arizona, the Phoenix, when they were Phoenix, it was the Suns and Coyotes.
It was
together.
Suns and Coyotes,
when they
yeah.
were Phoenix Coyotes. But yeah, let's move on to some other news very quickly. MLB, we got an injury.
It is official. Well, I like how all UCL injuries are. Spencer Strider is officially done for the year. And again, once you get a UCL issue, you will be done for the year. So it's unfortunate. It sucks, but that's just how the game is right now. That's how pitching is. Right?
Yeah, we definitely
a lot of factors into it. Pitch clock, pitching styles, definitely go into it. It sucks with more injuries. You don't want to see it, but at the end of the day, like UCLs are gonna happen when you're throwing 97 miles per hour after every like other pitch, essentially.
Yeah. Moving on, the end of the Ohtani situation, I think, is here. His former translator stole $16 million, so he's getting charged with bank fraud. From federal authorities said Thursday, according to ESPN's Aiden Gonzalez and Paula Levine. Missouri will surrender to the authorities on Friday. U.S. Attorney spokesperson told The Athletic Sam Blum he'll have a bond hearing later Friday, but will likely be arranged at a future date. Authorities said Missouri transferred more than $16 million from Ohtani's bank accounts.
Ohtani's making $70 million a year. Just give some to your church.
Well, $2 million.
Well, technically $2 million, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess Ohtani was involved.
Yeah, he said he admitted that to bookmakers via text messages that he stole from Ohtani.
Like we said last time, big win for Ohtani, big win for MLB because they don't have to kick out their best player that they've seen in 100 years, essentially almost.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Other news. Let's go to the NFL. Two news. One. Rest in peace. Weird saying that. I don't know how to polarizing figure. O.J.
Yeah.
Simpson, and we obviously sports fans may know him as one of the best players in the NFL, but a lot of people, including sports like us, know him for a lot of other things.
Off court, off field issues. He was also an actor, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's a polarizing thing. He's died because of cancer. So obviously, prayers to his family. I guess that's the best way I want to say, because you don't want to.
I don't know if there's a best way of putting this.
Yeah, that's why we didn't lead off with this on purpose.
Yeah,
because of that. But yeah, he succumbed to cancer. People obviously know about the possible. Did he do it? Did he not do it? Meaning, did he kill his at that time wife and friend?
Yeah.
Goldman, and obviously, Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. Then there was also a police chase, the famous police chase from a bank robbery thing. Obviously, he got out of jail a couple of years ago. Yeah, so we'll see how this all goes. It's definitely a polarizing thing. So
he's a polarizing figure.
Yeah,
right. That's just the best. That's just the best way to describe this situation. Other news: Tom Brady does not want to sit on the couch anymore, and he's already trying to go back to the NFL.
Well, he said he's not opposed to ending NFL retirement. He's not he literally said, "I'm not opposed to it if this is obviously the right situation comes up." He's like the Patriots. It could be the Raiders. You never know. I don't know if they're going to let me if I become an owner in the NFL. He continued, because remember, he might have stake in the Raiders.
Yeah,
I'm always going to be in good shape. Always be able to throw the ball. So to come in for a little bit like MJ coming back, I don't know if they let me, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, simple as that. Still loves football. But we will be seeing Tom Brady in the booth on Fox Sports.
Should be
in the booth. He tried himself. I think he took the year off. Tried to learn how to commentate and add on the quick analysis. You know how Greg Olsen is. So let's see. Is he going to replace Greg Olsen? I don't know how it's going to work, because Greg Olsen is one of the GOATs already.
Yeah.
And so you will see Tom Brady on Fox, or should be seeing Tom Brady on Fox. You already saw Matt Ryan on CBS this past year anyways, and he is officially retired as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the NFL news, but let's get into it.
UFC?
We got a UFC 300 match card. May not been looked great on paper, but obviously main event wise. But goddamn,
What a card. I'll say that.
wow, just wow.
Let's start off with the biggest moment, in my opinion. It's not the main event. We'll talk about the main event in second.
This is a people's main event.
Gaethje versus Holloway, which we both predicted was going to be fight of the night, which ended up being fight of the night. Stole the show for the BMF belt. Obviously, me being a Gaethje fan, did not have a good happy ending, but I am a fan of Holloway as well because, like you said about Paige Beckers, people must have forgot about her. People must have forgot about Max Holloway.
Bro,
He was already up 3-0, 4-1 going into the final, pretty much finishing up the
3-1
final
going into
round.
the final round. Yeah, 4-1 probably.
That was the coldest moment from me watching UFC and UFC history. I know people might say that, that was a comeback win by Silva, Chael Sonnen, which ended up getting the Hall of Fame, the first matchup.
Yeah.
But this was the coldest thing ever because now he breaks his nose. Holloway breaks Gaethje's nose in the first round, but at the last second. Second round,
Pokes
his eyes
Yeah.
twice on accident, so I'm not going to say too much about that, which is unfortunate because maybe we could have seen a better comeback from Gaethje in that sense. Third round, it was all him again. Fourth round, it was Gaethje making a comeback, knocked him down once. Could have had him, could have not. But when you're in the fifth round and he's got him hurt, and he said in the last 10 seconds, meet me center ring and go all out, and you know Gaethje ain't going to stop. You got the two legit BMFs in the game today, in the fight game today. And the fact that you did this against a guy like Gaethje, who I understand was very badly hurt, so it might have been tough to get knocked out. But the fact you knocked him out with 1 second to go and could have been knocked out by a guy like Justin Gaethje and how good of a striker and fighter he is.
Bro.
Coldest moment ever.
It was.
I was in shock. Probably one of the greatest knockouts ever.
It was a buzzer beater, right? It was just haymakers after 10 seconds straight. They both just met in the middle. Like, screw it. This is a BMF title. Let's have a BMF moment, right? And it was, one of the greatest endings to a fight I've ever seen. One of the greatest knockouts I have ever seen. And I am not a UFC freaking legend who knows what happens in, like, the early 2000s. And, like, I started watching since COVID, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, properly. Like, all the little fights, too. Before, it's probably just the big fights. Yeah, that's the greatest ending I've ever seen, greatest knockout I have ever seen, and I was just like in awe. I'm still in awe.
Retire the belt because I don't think anyone's beating that.
You're not getting
again.
a BMF moment. You're never getting that BMF moment ever again. Nothing could happen in that sense. People may throw haymakers in the last 10 seconds, but you're not getting a brutal knockout where Gaethje's.
And Holloway's moment against Gaethje, doing it a guy like against Gaethje.
Exactly right. It's nothing tops that. You can't top that.
As for the greatest knockout, I do agree with you slightly. However, I'm gonna put this one out there: Leon Edwards comeback.
Yeah.
With the head kick in the last minute.
But
that one was also for the belt, and he was losing that fight.
And he was losing. Yeah, obviously that's obviously definitely up there. That's one that I thought of too, from this last few years. But the fact that this was a buzzer beater, and the fact that
I think the only difference with this one was even if it wasn't a buzzer beater, he would have won the fight anyways.
But it was a buzzer beater.
Yeah, it
was a buzzer beater. What do you see buzzer beater knockouts? You see NBA buzzer beaters all the time. You don't see buzzer beater knockouts.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm not gonna argue this one just because I feel like Leon Edwards does have a good case.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that.
Good case for second.
But I'm saying it's a good case because that one he was legit losing the fight and he knocked down at the time.
Yeah, it was a clean knockout too. Yeah,
But yeah, no, in this one, this card caused a lot of confusion now because your boy Charles Oliveira also lost.
Yeah,
and that one was
close
he
fight.
did not have a good. It was a close fight, but he didn't give away the second round completely. In the third round, if it wasn't for the last minute of that hold, he lost that fight. He was losing that fight regardless.
Yeah, no, it was. At the end of the day, when you look at the numbers, 29-28 split decision, it doesn't get much closer at the end of the day as well. When you look at that.
Yeah. So now here's a question before we talk about the main event. How is the lightweight matchup going to go? Because it is officially announced that Dustin Poirier will be taking on Islam Makhachev in June, I believe June 1st at UFC 302. Right, co-main event will be Strickland versus Paulo Costa. That's a 5-rounder as well. But sticking to the lightweight.
So then now you got
Armin.
Gaethje lost, right? Gaethje's definitely in the conversation
because he destroyed Poirier.
Oliveira's definitely in the conversation still. Armin put himself in the conversation, as well. So you got 3 guys after Poirier who have I just don't know who gets next. They all have a
That's
case.
tough because I think
Because originally it was supposed to be Charles Oliveira.
because the plan was Oliveira should be getting Abu Dhabi in October if he had won this fight. I think that was the thing. He obviously risked it himself. Fair play to him, right? Nothing wrong with that. So I think it might be Arman. I don't know. Because Gaethje lost like that. It's tough, even though that was a featherweight. It's gonna be tough.
Was that lightweight?
No, it was at lightweight, but against a guy who came up from featherweight, because he technically handled business outside of Oliveira. Gaethje did. Right. So it's a tough one. I'll be fine with him versus Arman in October, which is going to be the plan most likely in Abu Dhabi, Fight Island. So it's going to be definitely interesting thing to see. But going back to Holloway very quickly before we close it out on Holloway's thing, give him Topuria.
Yeah, he asked for it.
He asked for that. He asked for Islam. I think the Islam one is a little stretched. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve that fight either, because he looked good at lightweight clearly and against a guy like Gaethje, because that shows a lot. But I think he needs to get Topuria. I'm not sure when Volk's coming back, if he's not fighting anytime soon. If Topuria needs to fight, maybe August. I think that if I'm Volk, give it a little rest, because at the end of the day, people must have forgotten Max Holloway was a dominant guy until he fought that last fight against Volkanovski. Even those fights before he fought Volkanovski were close fights, right? And that was the only guy that just kind of had his number.
Volkanovski had his earlier
number.
Fights. He did have his
number. The earlier fights was when he lost, right? But I looked at the record on purpose just to see, because I know we're more on the casual side of things.
He's been in the UFC for 12
but
years.
I think
he entered at age 20.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's simple. No point of stretching this. It's Topuria Holloway has to be and should be.
Or give me Volk 4 if Volk gets
Topuria Holloway. I don't want Volk 4. I don't want to see that again.
But I'm just saying, like, if Topuria loses to Volk.
Nah, man, it's gonna be for the belt. After that finish, you gotta have the belt. Yeah,
I think it should be Topuria.
I'm not here for this
it's gonna. I think
fights now
it's gonna be Volk. I think it will be Volk if it's more delayed. But if it's gonna happen anytime soon,
what do you mean Volk? Volk is the one who needs to the rest. Topuria is the one who's ready.
But my point is, if Volk says he wants September, he's getting September.
Yeah,
against Topuria. That's my point. I'm saying it should be Topuria or Holloway. But at the end of the day,
man, you can respect Volk, right? If Volk's ready.
Then you listen to Volk. That's what I'm saying. If Volk beats Topuria, I don't know if you do Volk Holloway 4 or you do Volk Topuria 2 or 3 at that point. If that was the case.
Topuria 3 then.
It should be. But
that's how it works, bro.
But
that's how it should work.
But no, at the end of the day, Holloway should get Topuria. That's what our conclusion comes out of that. After that type of performance, he gets 600K fight bonuses. He gets performance of the night, tied with Yuri, who also had a banger fight himself.
Yeah.
And fight of the night, so which means Gaethje still goes away 300K as well, I believe. But the women's fight started off. It was Weili Zhang, comeback from Yan, a little bit in the third round, but then it was Zhang's fight ended up all the way through.
It was 45-40 died. It was 4-1 rounds for Weili Zhang and
plus some 10-8s.
Plus some 10-8s, as well. So
it was but the other girl, give credit to her, she did belong. The winner out of all this is China, because it's the first Chinese competition fight, I think.
China versus China?
Yeah, as well. But in terms of the prelim cards, Davison Figueiredo moving up in weight destroyed his. He beat Cody Garbrandt pretty convincingly as well. Aljo just destroyed in featherweight.
Aljo did his thing.
And Yuri lost the first round, I believe, or was losing the first round, comes out with no defense and just destroys.
All offense, baby.
And destroys
Rakic.
Yeah. So
who put up a good performance as well.
But moving on to the main event, and I feel like I'm right in a sense.
I feel like I don't know.
The only reason is because of the Jamal Hill factor of it, right? Alex Pereira.
Another way, I'm not convinced that Leon Edwards and Bilal Koulibaly.
Bilal Muhammad.
Or
you said the basketball player.
I said the basketball player. Muhammad would have done. I think it could have been the same level.
I think the fight would have been closer. That's the only reason.
Closer fight, but it could, at the end of the day, close fights.
The reason why
close fights don't mean entertaining fights.
True, but I mean, this was a first round knockout. I get it. It was just one connection, though. We didn't see a fight back. I feel like in Leon and Bilal, we would have seen a fight back, right? And for me, at the end of the day, I still stick with what I said, and I still think I'm right on that sense, because Jamal Hill comeback fight was literally against the champ. We saw what happened in the Yuri. I understand how Alex Pereira is the bigger name and he got the main event opportunity because Dricus didn't want to fight Israel Adesanya. At the end of the day, for me, Jamal Hill, not many people knew him until that fight he had against Glover, and even coming into this fight, I agree with I forgot who was on Twitter saying that for casual fans, people might not have known him as much, more casual than us even, to the point where I thought it should have been Leon and Bilal, and this
Do
fight.
people know that?
And
too?
this
Do
fight
people know Bilal?
I feel like they do because
I think
he's fought a lot,
yeah.
more than Jamal Hill,
Casual.
definitely.
Casual.
Jamal Hill has been out of the game for a while because of the injury, and that's why I think that fight should have happened in Brazil, and it could. Pereira could still fight in Brazil for all we know. I don't think it will happen, but I think now because the Brazil card looks so bad, I feel like now.
Hey, man, sacrifices have to be made, right?
I still think it's.
Sacrifice
I still
have to
think
be-
it should have been this.
I liked it. I think this was the best move. I think at the end of the day, you gotta have your top dog. Alex Pereira is one of your top dogs. He is way better than Leon Edwards. He is way better than Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah,
right?
but
there's no arguing that.
Then it should have been the heavyweight fight guy. Then if he wanted heavyweight, you should have given him Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, who knows?
It should have not been Jamal. My point
can't-
is, I'm not saying anything bad about Pereira. I'm saying it should not have been Jamal Hill.
I'm just saying this. You can't tell me that if UFC 300 had Alex Pereira available, and you don't put Alex Pereira, I would be pissed off. I would have been happy if Alex Pereira wasn't on this card. I'm saying that much.
I would have been fine with it because it was Brazil next month.
I am not.
That's me.
The biggest card needs to have the biggest name. I'm sorry, Brazil. Your guy is one of the biggest names. It does. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I know. I that's just me. Well,
And at the end of the day, we don't know. At the end of the day, we still got a knockout. We saw some big punch. We saw impressive knockout. Right, he barely connected and still showed that much power. Right, the Deontay Wilder-esque one when he faced Robert Helenius, we saw something special still at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll leave it there. I like I said, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah.
After watching it, I'm still not a
I'm
fan
gonna do
of
the
it.
Alex Pereira knockout on you.
Oh yeah, right.
Which one? The Alex Pereira knockout? Should we start swinging haymakers, Holloway, Gaethje right now?
No, we have a soccer game.
Yeah, no, we're gonna die. I'm getting knocked out. I feel like I'm a better wrestler, but you definitely are a better puncher.
We'll see. But no, going back to it though, Alex
Will you
Pereira.
make a chokehold?
The Alex Pereira, I don't know if he will end up fighting in Brazil. We'll see. But this shows me one thing: the only guy to knock him out, recent memory,
Or slow him down?
is Israel Adesanya. Even in the first fight, it was Adesanya until the fifth
He
round.
is, I think, now 10-2, I believe.
Yeah.
Or 9-2, whatever it is. He has come in. He has beaten one of the top dogs.
He beat the two top dogs in light heavyweight at 205.
Yeah, no, but he's beaten the top dog in UFC, in Israel Adesanya.
Then also,
Defended a belt, obviously lost to it. So he's already became a champion once. Goes up in weight. He is definitely a heavier fighter. He was fighting at 185. That's not a good weight for him. We all know this because man's like at least 200 pounds. 250 pounds, if you're going to say. He wants heavyweight. 235 at least. Goes up, takes the belt from a very volatile and light heavyweight division in the sense of people winning, putting on classic fights and getting injured. Took out Yan for the title. Took out Yuri. And now took out Jamal
I think
Hill. Yan was for the vacant title. And he beat Yan.
Oh, okay.
And then took out Yuri and now took out Jamal Hill.
Yeah, no. He's the guy of the fight game right now. It's either him or Islam Makhachev. I think he should be up there for pound, second probably. But I'm just saying, I really wished Izzy did not lose that freaking fight against Sean Strickland. I don't know if it was just his mentally, he was just isn't there. He comes back, he beats Dricus convincingly. Maybe have another fight at light heavyweight or at middleweight. I think these guys.
Pereira's not going down.
No, not these guys. I'm saying maybe have another fight, maybe a rematch against Strickland at middleweight if he beats Dricus, right? And I think they're rumored to fight in Australia in September. My thing is maybe go up to light heavyweight and fight Pereira.
Yeah.
I think that has to be it. He's the only guy that ever gave Izzy got trouble from.
Strickland gave him trouble.
Gave him trouble, but I'm saying
Strickland gave him
more
trouble.
on this sense, he gave Izzy trouble. But even that fight, Izzy was winning that fight until the fifth round, and then knocked him out in the second round. In that one, let him go up to light heavyweight because Izzy and Yan was not a good matchup when Izzy fought him at light heavyweight, in which Izzy deserves that fight. Don't get me wrong, because he was destroying competition and his own thing. But maybe the guys that Izzy or Jamal outside of Yan, I get that part. The ones that Alex beat, I feel like Izzy could win those fights as well. That's just me. I could be a homer here.
You're a homer.
No,
I'm
there's no
kidding,
way.
Yeah, Izzy will beat Jabal. Izzy will beat.
Yuri.
I mean, Yuri's all offense.
So that's what I'm saying.
So I'm not gonna.
But I think
I'm
that's
not gonna say Yuri's out of every fight just because it's all offense and he just comes back around and just
yeah.
knocks out someone in the 5th round.
Maybe
when
it was
he's
their
losing.
first fight back, and then this one is different. But like I said, I think Alex Pereira's the only two options are that where he'll get proper competition. Maybe go up to heavyweight. Maybe fight John Jones.
No,
Or maybe fight Israel Adesanya.
no, that's
Okay.
not his only two options. He has one more.
What?
Ankalaev.
I think he wins that fight.
He wins, but Ankalaev deserves the
I think-
opportunity. Ankalaev deserves a shot at the title.
My point is, for him, if I'm on Pereira's thing, I'm
Yeah.
moving up to either heavyweight or I'm fighting Israel Adesanya.
Yeah,
From the UFC
if
side
you're
of
the
things, I
best,
agree with
yeah.
you. From the UFC
Ankalaev
side, I agree
deserves
with
it,
you.
yeah.
He
At the
deserves
end
a
of
shot. I'm saying if I'm Alex Pereira,
Yeah,
that's where I'm same thing with Makachev. If I'm Makachev, I want to go up and fight Leon Edwards more so than fight these guys in lightweight right now.
That's
because
true.
I just feel like no disrespect to Ankalaev, I think Pereira beats him.
it's Pereira. Yeah,
So-
I'm picking Pereira too. I would pick
So
Pereira. But
that's my point. I
I'm
think
saying at the end of
the money fights are either Izzy or he goes to heavyweight.
Yeah, that. But the
And becomes
option,
a three-time
option of
three belt.
Ankalaev is still there. There's no only two options. There's three options. Obviously, the other two are better. Ankalaev is the third option.
Yeah,
but they're
I'm
not.
speaking of
They're
it-
not only two.
I'm
There's
speaking
three.
of Alex Pereira's perspective.
There's three though.
But I'm speaking on Alex
Yeah,
Pereira's
no, but there's still three options.
Yeah, but
But that's third.
I'm
option.
disrespecting that third option.
I agree in the sense that
Yeah.
that's the third option. Well, let's move on
no, we can't.
to the. What do you mean? No, we can't.
Are you sticking with the UFC though?
What other fights do we have?
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, so that's what.
Oh, I thought you said we're
I
moving on to
thought you meant
soccer.
300-wise.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So UFC, sticking with UFC.
Yeah.
Conor
I
McGregor.
thought you were sticking with 300.
No, I thought you said we're moving on to
Yeah.
soccer to close it out.
No, okay.
No. Conor McGregor officially.
Last time I saw
Back.
Conor McGregor
was-
was in Roadhouse,
Okay.
and he was a beast. He was a beast. So if you're saying Roadhouse, Conor McGregor, I'll be a fun Conor McGregor to watch at UFC 303, where he is facing Michael Chandler.
At 170, which I think is welterweight.
Wow.
So he went from featherweight to lightweight to now welterweight.
I think he looks like a welterweight in Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Pretty jacked.
McGregor will face Chandler. It's official. Dana White announced it on June 29th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas as the main event at UFC 303. Exactly, I think 3 years ago.
Exactly 3 years ago,
Where he lost his fight. Last fought.
where he broke his leg against Dustin Poirier. That's the last time.
Oh, no.
we saw.
First time since UFC 264 in July 2021. Yeah.
So 3 years ago.
Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. There's been a lot of back and forth here. The Irishman is seeking his first victory since first round TKO of Donald Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone, in January 2020. Then lost to Poirier, and then broke his leg against Poirier again. So he's 1-3 in his last four. This will be the test to see how good he actually is. Still, obviously, still he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the GOATs. I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm saying current form Conor McGregor.
Yeah. We'll see.
This was supposed to be the UFC 300 fight.
This would have been,
but
yeah, 100%. For sure.
But yeah, so
UFC 303 sold out.
we officially
Las
got it.
Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
T-Mobile Arena, absolutely finished. Only ran his pump because he's a Conor McGregor fan.
And he was there for this
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, let's move on. Let's close it out on soccer. We have one title winner announced. Still invincible. Bayer Leverkusen beat the beat Harry Kane, who tried to win a championship. The Harry Kane curse is stronger than the luck of Kingsley Coman. That's for sure.
And new, undisputed Bundesliga champions of the world, Bayer Leverkusen. And yeah, what an incredible season. Beat Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich won the last 10, I believe. I think. On that streak. Whatever streak they're on has been a Farmers League streak for sure.
Yeah.
More than the freaking league on somehow. But you got Florian Wirtz at 20-year-old playing at that level. You got Jonathan Tah, right, playing at that level. You got the wing backs, Frimpong and Grimaldo, doing what they've been doing. Victor Boniface, who didn't feel like he was injured for 4 months, just comes back and starts doing his thing again. And on top of it all, the man who's leading it, Xabi Alonso, gets the job done and has brought Leverkusen their first ever Bundesliga title.
25 wins, 4 draws, 0 losses.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how that feels anymore, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
As a United fan.
But yeah, congrats to Bayer Leverkusen. Let's see, he's staying as of right
And
now.
new
Moving on to the EPL title race.
And still shit, Man United. Yeah.
Yeah, Man United. I don't know. Well, quick thoughts on that very quickly. We don't know what's happening with Ten Hag. I don't think he should be sacked. I understand he deserves the blame too, but I think the players at this point are still doing the same thing with every single manager they have.
Yeah, Garnacho liking tweets for being subbed off and like all that stuff.
Which that one I disagree with.
Yeah,
Garnacho,
it's all stupid.
It's all shit.
It's all shit, and
we'll see what the new ownership does
and still
what
shit,
the plan
yeah.
goes. As long as it's not Gareth Southgate, I'll be fine with it. But
we'll see. You know, freaking Ratcliffe is trying to change stuff by adding proper front office people in and getting CEOs and football directors and all these other positions I've never heard of before because Man United never had them, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the actual race.
Big results, big results, to the point that entering this weekend, Manchester City were third place. They are now first place because Liverpool have lost to Crystal Palace 1-0 and Arsenal lost to Aston Villa 2-0 at home, putting Liverpool at, I believe, third, Arsenal at second, and Manchester City once again at first place.
Yeah, not surprising to us, right? At the end of the day, we thought this might have been the City collapse just because, not collapse, but City downfall just because they handle business against Liverpool and Arsenal.
There were three teams.
Yeah, and there's 3 teams. It's still anything could happen. There's 6 games remaining, right?
Damn, that's a lot.
There's still 6 games remaining. There's 2-point difference. City and Arsenal have big Champions League games. Liverpool might be out of the Europa League, so they might just focus on the league.
They lost 3-0 to Atalanta
as well. So that's where we will see what happens. Not surprising at all. Obviously, it's tough because Arsenal choked it last year. I get it, young team. Don't get me wrong. They're still in the race this year. They have it in their grasp. They cannot be.
This year's different. This
year's different. They're not choking it. Last year they choked it.
Yeah.
Right? But opportunities like this might not come. The good news is they have a good.
No, they will come. They're young. They will come.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we can't just start saying that they're young. They're gonna they will be back, but you gotta get the job done. Right?
Like Liverpool only won 1.
Liverpool didn't get the job done many times. Yeah.
So people are saying like Liverpool was there almost every year except last year.
Exactly.
Choked 2 of them away. Ended up winning the one that I'm not gonna say was a COVID one because they had it locked before COVID.
They had it locked. Yeah, they had it locked.
But yeah, at the end of the day, they had 1 only, right? Which in a way you got 1. That's great.
And you got UCL as well.
So with Arsenal let's see how they go because not every young team does well. Soccer is different from every other sport in the world because playoff implications are a thing as well. We haven't seen OKC win with the young KD, that team. We thought they were going to come back year after year.
But soccer is different, right? Like at the end of the day, we know Arsenal's going to be top dogs for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Right? We agree on the fact that Arsenal is going to be good. They're set up foundation-wise already. They have their core pieces set and that are young. They have
just
their
striker away.
Striker away for sure. But we'll see what happens. Then again, like we said it before, City will find a way. And a 5-1 win against Luton right now is found a way for them to be first place.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. 6 games remaining. Stuff could happen. If you're we'll just say quickly the schedules remaining right now, not including Champions League.
City has
not including Champions League, but they have a Chelsea and FA Cup still as well. So City has an extra.
City has tough games.
But they have Brighton, Nottingham, Wolverhampton, Fulham, Tottenham, West Ham. Right, like I said, they have Chelsea and Real Madrid at the moment. Arsenal has their Champions League games plus Wolverhampton, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, Bournemouth, and Everton. So theirs is a little bit tougher at the moment.
Is it?
I would say so.
What is it? So they have
a rivalry game against Tottenham, which is not going to be easy.
But City has Tottenham too.
Yeah, but this one's more of a direct rival.
I know, but there's still
Chelsea.
Tottenham.
Chelsea gave trouble a little bit, I believe, to them.
Both teams. They gave City edge.
So there's that.
Tottenham, Chelsea.
I'm not gonna say us.
I'm not saying Man United.
But even though we did give Liverpool trouble.
Yeah, but not Arsenal or City.
But and then Liverpool, they have outside of Atalanta.
I feel like Liverpool has the easiest.
Yeah, Fulham, Everton, West Ham, Tottenham, Villa, Wolverhampton. So
they're all even.
They're all even. So it's gonna be a fun race.
Because Bournemouth's good, bro. Dominic Solanke is like killing it.
Yeah.
Right, he's up there at goals. I think he has 17 now.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be not an easy game for Arsenal. Obviously, Aston Villa was an easy game. Like Arsenal lost to a respectable opponent at the end of the day. Right, they lost to Aston Villa. Like Liverpool lost to Crystal Palace. That's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Right, losing to Aston Villa, It happens.
But you were home though.
But you were home.
That's the difference. But yeah, that's pretty much it from us.
And it's looking like City will be ad still. Yeah. All this UFC got to be hyped up.
Okay, so once again, we appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate the support. We're 7 subscribers away at this moment, so please help us reach 500. We're almost
Should we
there.
just check right now? Live count?
Shine live count. It
live
is.
Count. You'll probably get there first.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, still 7 away.
What the hell? Not even get one?
493. So just help us. We're almost there. We appreciate that. Make sure you guys follow our socials. Link down below. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything. YouTube Shorts. So subscribe. Audio listeners, we appreciate you guys for listening. So make sure you guys download, rate, and review as well. And like I said, this week is gonna be. Or this couple of weeks, depending on the playoffs, it's gonna be a weird schedule for us, just because we don't want to cram everything into one episode. So we might be doing something daily. We might be doing every other day. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, outside of that, enjoy the playoff season, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.